Welcome. Today we're going to talk about microphones. I was talking to a friend of mine and he had some questions about microphones, and I was thinking, you know what? I bet it is very confusing to people. So I figured let's talk about it. We have three types of microphones on the desk here. This is what I have. We have the professional wireless. This is two wireless and a receiver. We also got your budget friendly. Again, two microphones with one receiver. And then we have your a little bit more money, two microphones, one receiver. This microphone is, I consider, a professional one. This is, a lot of broadcasters use this. Every time you're at a new location, you have to turn on and scan all the frequencies, and then the unit will pick out a frequency that will work. Then you take the receiver and transmitter and you sync them up, and then it sees it. Now with these little ones, they just come in a little case, you open it, and they're synced up already. No fuss, no muss, you don't have to worry about it, just turn on and it works. With the last one, same thing, it has a case, turn them on and it works. This one does have a lot of menus, and you have to swipe and go to different menus. We will talk about that later, but that's where this system is a lot simpler, where you have two buttons, one for noise reduction, so like if it's a noisy environment, and the other one is between mono and stereo. This one can do quite a bit, and we will talk about that later. All right, let's talk about the professional one. Why would you want that? Let's clear the table out and we can talk about it. Wow, we got the table all set up with the professional mic system. Now, one thing that you'll see with the cheap systems, they usually sell it in a single or a double. That's basically the only options. Now, with a professional setup, there's lots of options. There's an option for a microphone that's a handheld, that's wireless. Or there's an option for this little guy that you can plug a microphone into it. And you could buy a 2 receiver or 1 receiver, depending on if you want 2 mics or 1 mic. So the cheapest you can go with this system is a single receiver with a single transmitter. This is the standard package that you get. It comes with the little mini jack, or it has a mini jack to XLR to plug into your professional camera. I bought these off of eBay because they're so much cheaper on eBay than buy them. So I like this single one and the dual one at the same time, because what you can do is I can do 2 lavs with this system, and then I can put a shotgun mic on this because it has 48 volts and pair that with this. So now I have 3 microphones. And then I will show you in a minute the FX30 has XLRs on it, and you can run 4 microphones with this. So I actually put both receivers on here, and then we could do we can hook up tons of mics all at the same time. Now, one reason I bought the Sony one over everything else. Let's go back to the FX30. So I bought the package where it comes with the XLR handle and the camera. And of course I got a cage, because if you don't have a cage, you have nowhere to mount the wireless. It's just one of the things. Now, this is why I bought the FX30 and these wireless. So you take this off, take my dual receiver, and take all this stuff off. That's just a cold shoe, little bracket to hold it, and then I'm going to put this on. Now take these wires off and put this right onto the camera. If we turn on the camera and turn on the receiver. Now remember I told you with this you have to do a frequency scan. So let's look at this. So this, you have two microphones. Now it says MI on there, so that means it's connected to the camera. So we're going to go to receiver 1. We're going to scroll down to auto set, hit it, then you hit yes. Now it's going to scan the frequencies. This has an IR port on there. So it says sync. Now you turn on the other one. It says, do you want to sync? Hit yes. So now I have one microphone. You see at the bottom there, I have one microphone working. Now let's do the second one. Again, you have to do this every time you're at a new place. So we're going to hit the menu button, go to microphone 2, do auto sync. Now it's real crucial to leave that mic on that you just did, because you don't want to pick the same frequency. The computer doesn't know that it might pick the same frequency. So you always leave that one on, and then turn on the next one, sync it. We got two microphones going into audio. So now with this, there's no wires. Works out fantastic. It's digital going into the camera. It's just fantastic. Now, and you can't adjust audio levels. So that's where, if you got any problems, you can adjust the audio output on here. Now, I can't say enough to monitor your audio is so important. You got to hear if there's dropout, or if there's rustling, or sometimes people hit their chest and that's where the mic's at. So there's a lot of factors. Now, what's nice is I could either plug it into the headphone jack up here, or I can plug it into the camera. Now, I usually plug it into the camera just because you know this is what the camera's actually getting, so you know it's working. So now I hear audio. Yep, I hear audio fine. So now you know you got clean audio, and just listen to it the whole time. If you're by yourself talking to it, make sure you move around and make sure if you got any rustles on the microphones. Now, another way you could run this camera, the way I run it, let's set that up. Obviously, I turn off the camera always and turn off the receiver, and then unplug it. Take this off, and then put this bracket back on. Put the cold shoe on. Cold shoe also has a 1/4-20, so I thought that's nice. All right, so now let's rig this up the way I do it. Okay, so now we're going to take that stereo cable with one output, plug it into here. There's two outputs, a headphone jack, and a third mic. I don't use the third mic because it mixes in with the others, so there's no. The best thing is every microphone be on a separate channel so you can edit easier. So again, I need to make sure I have something up there to put it on. So we can do that way, or we can do this way. Tighten that down. so make sure it doesn't fall off. Now, what's really cool about this camera is we have a mini jack up here. Plug that mini jack in here. Now we turn the camera on. Turn this on. Now, the camera has now 4 audio levels. So now I have this microphone, and then we have a shotgun mic that all we have to do is 48 volts. And now we have 4 microphones. So now I could hook up another XLR microphone or another shotgun, or like with this guy, I could take this off, put this thing on the output. And the reason I bought the cage is now with the cage we can plug it in here. Now this can go into the other input. And then inside this you have adjustments of which microphones are which. So now turn this on. Now, because it's another receiver, we have to do that auto sync. Now it's going to look for the channels. We got to make sure our other 2 wirelesses are on. And then it will sync up. And then I will use this, and I have this cool little cable here. I have an XLR male. Plug that into there. The other end I have a RCA, or you pull that out, and now you have 1/4 inch. And this is what I plug into the audio board at whatever venue I'm at, the DJ or whatever. So now I can get my microphones and also the PA from the audio board. So now you can see here I have 4 channels of audio. That's what's really cool about the FX30. Yes, you pay a little bit more for the handle, but if you think about the cost of getting a external recorder, so let's say if you get the base camera and get an external recorder, you could do 4 microphones also with this. The only difference is in the editing you have to sync the 2 up. So a lot of times people will clap, and then that gives you see the little spike in the audio, and then you can match the audio clip with the video clip. For this to work easily, you have to make sure the mic is on inside your camera. You know, like the built-in mic. Make sure the built-in mic is on if you use an external recorder. And then you could, like what I do is I shout out, hey, this is, you know, because your camera has a clip. It tells you what number clip it is. So I will say, all right, this is clip 5. And then I clap. And then I could hear, oh, this is clip 5. So then I know that the audio file matches with the video file. And you hit record on both, and then say all that. I found going directly to the camera is just, it makes your life so much easier. I just did this documentary, and we shot over 300 clips. You imagine trying to sync all 300 clips? I did it in camera, didn't have to worry about it. With the external recorder, you know, every time you hit stop and start, you got to do the, you know, I would do an audio cue and a clap. So when you sync it all in the camera, you don't have to worry about that at all. One nice thing about external recorders, if you have the 32-bit float version, you don't have to mess with audio levels. So you can hit record, set it, and forget. With this system, you got to make sure that the audio is not peaking. You know, you don't have a red light. You know, a lot of these things you can actually look on. There's an audio level inside the system here, and that audio level, you can just make sure it's not clipping, and you'll be fine. But if someone starts screaming, it might clip. With 32-bit float, it doesn't matter if they scream or whisper. It's the same. You can fix it in post. So 32-bit float, you have to have editing software that will see all that range. So you will see it clipping on your timeline. So then you have to blade it on both ends and then drop down the volume, and then it will come back. So that's 32-bit float's really good if audio is crucial, like for a documentary or something. But even I did a documentary and I just did it in camera. I just made sure I wore a headset the whole time so I could hear the audio. I can hear if it distorts or not. And then also, you know, you're looking at the monitor anyways for framing, so you might as well look at the audio levels too and just make sure there's no, they usually have a little red or yellow thing peaks up. Just make sure it doesn't do that. But that's how you set up this camera. Now, let's say you have one of these cameras. I have a Nikon here. It only has a stereo input. So that's where you use this cable here. So again, if you have the 2 receiver like I do here and plug that in to the camera, I can still get 2 microphones, one on the left, one on the right. Also with these little systems, they're also, one mic is on the left, one mic is on the right. So you don't get the 4 channels like the FX30, but at least you get 2 channels, and they're both on independent channels. And then in the computer, you have to mono each channel. So left channel, you want it to go to left and right, and the right channel, you want it to go to left and right. And then your audio will come out with both microphones will come out both channels. I've watched so many YouTube videos where you can hear the different people bouncing back and forth on the video. Always make sure you mono it. On Final Cut, it's real easy. You just tap the clip and then go to stereo to mono. On DaVinci Resolve, you have to right-click the line where the audio is and convert it to mono. It's pretty simple. All right, let's now go to other mics. All right, the next mic we're going to talk about is wired. So I bought these pretty inexpensive mics. So they have an XLR and they have a lavalier. You have to use a cable now. You plug it in, and then on the camera that you use, you have to make sure 48-volt phantom power is on for this mic to work. There's no batteries in the mic, so you don't ever have to worry about the battery dying. A lot of TV stations use these because the anchor could sit there for 5 hours and you don't have to worry about the battery. Now, why would I have a wired microphone? Well, there's a couple of times in a really busy area in hotels, downtown area, there's so much Wi-Fi, RF. You got the venues wireless, so you might be at a gig where they're using like 50, there could be 50 wireless mics, and they're using all these sub channels and everything. So I always bring this because then they usually have me out in the hallway, so I can just go in the hallway, run a short XLR to my camera, and I don't have to worry about any of that RF, because with the previous system, These run on like 400 megahertz all the way up to 900 megahertz, depending on which brand. If you're on the same frequencies as the audio team or the AV team that has the 20 microphones, you might not be able to get a clear signal. It will scan and scan and scan and never stop because there's nothing open. So that's why I always have a wired mic just in case. You can get some cheap wired mics, lavaliers, that on this end is USB-C, or you can get the 3.5 millimeter jack, and then the 3 millimeter jack. Like a lot of these cameras, you can turn on mic power in the menu. So like on the Nikon and Sony, you have to go in there and say, please take that little mic jack on the camera and send power to it. It sends like a couple of volts. But like on the Nikon here, if you don't have it on the menu, the mic won't work at all. So just something to think about. With the little microphones at 3.5 jack, I usually get one that has a battery. It has one of those little tiny round batteries, and it has a switch on it. But again, the only problem with that is if you leave it on or you throw it in your bag and you forget to turn it off, the battery's going to die. So that's why I always like, the XLR. Now this microphone won't work with this camera because this camera won't send 48 volts. So that's where you would have to use like an external recorder. And the external recorder, you plug the microphone into the external recorder and tell it to send out 48 volts. Now it works. Especially if you have a camera that has no XLRs built in. One of the other tricks around that is one of my favorite cameras. This is a video camera, and you can get them for about $300 on eBay. It has XLR, and it has phantom power. So you could literally plug this wired mic directly into this camera and it works. Also, you can put like a shotgun mic like I have on here. This is a lot better than the internal mics. In fact, on this camera here, I also have a shotgun mic, and we can switch over to that. Now, the only problem with shotgun microphones is if you're not this far away, arm's length, it won't sound good. It sounds like it's really far away. Compared to when we go back to this mic, it sounds closer. So the closer the mic to your mouth is, the more full it is. So shotgun mics I use them for ambience. Like if you're in a room and people are talking and stuff, you use this microphone to pick up everybody talking and chit chat and stuff. If someone's like directly in front of the camera, like within a couple of feet, this will work. I've done that in a pinch where I'm in the hallway and I'm interviewing people, and they don't have the time to mic them. I just make sure I'm like a couple feet from them, and then have the whole camera as close as possible to them. By the way, this camera here is what's being used here, by the way. Not bad for a $300 camera. So that's where the wired mics work really well in like crowded events, crazy stuff. If you've got like no time at all, and you're going around to I have two of these. If you go around and you don't have time to scan frequencies and stuff, on the professional side, this wired will always work well. So now let's go to the cheapest. Now, before we go on to the least expensive wireless, remember the Sony system is about $900. Rode has one, Saramonic has one, Sennheiser has one. They're all in the $1,000 range. But remember, the person could turn their back and the microphone will still work. They can walk out of the room and you still get them working. With this now everything we're going to talk about now, if they turn their back to you, you might lose a signal. So that's the difference, that you get what you pay for. So this is the first system I ever bought. One of the reasons is I had the professional system first, and everybody's talking about these little wireless mics. So I bought the cheapest one I could find, and this is the Hollyland. The whole thing's $100. minus the cable I bought. This cable here, it makes me use this system with my professional cameras, with the Sony FX30 or the camcorder. And I'll tell you why we did that. This one has little wind screens. The other professional system, you have to buy like little things to make it like windproof. It doesn't come with it. This is kind of cool if someone, like if you're doing a reality TV and they're wearing a bathing suit or something, they have these little things that go around your neck, and it's like a, what do you call it, like a necklace. And the necklace will, you wear it around and the mic could be down here. That's kind of cool. All of these all come with some type of charger cable because they charge right inside the case. So you don't have to charge each thing individually. One nice thing about this system is if I put it in here and not lose the magnets, that happens sometimes. So I put them in there. Now it charges. If you only have a couple of LED lights on, make sure you plug it in and charge it up. But you have to have everything in here and closed to charge it. And then when you're ready to use, you just pull it out and they sync up. Now this kit came with a little alligator clip and a little magnet. And then the little magnet will just, you put the t-shirt in between the microphone and it just clips on. Sometimes I use somebody's lapel of the jacket, and I just put it right on the jacket. You can't go through all over the jacket because the magnet's not powerful enough, but you can go for one layer close. This one again has the volume on the front, depending on what your camera is, how much power you need. This system is really cool because if you want to use your cell phone, you just use these little wireless adapters, plug it in, and it works. Now, with this system, you have two choices. So you have using a little adapter, plugging directly into your camera, or you could use USB and go directly to your laptop. So this is another way of using this camera. This microphone will work on your laptop. So if you do a Zoom meeting and you don't like your internal mic on the laptop, you could actually have one of these and do it. That's pretty cool with this. Again, if you have a professional system, you could plug the receiver into this, or you can plug it directly into your cell phones. This has two features that I like. So one is you can press the button and it turns color. That means the noise suppression or like room noise. So like if you have an air conditioner, it pretty much takes it out. And the other button is on the thing itself, and that will make it one mic goes to the left channel, one goes to the right channel. You hit the button, they both go to both channels. So you don't have to do any editing. So if you're going to go directly to, if you don't want to do a whole lot of editing and mess with audio, this system's pretty cool. You can put it to mono and have both people going to both channels. This one, again, I had some issues. Like we're talking on the other side of the room in a banquet hall, the person turned and lost the mic. But usually they're facing towards the camera in the audience, so you should be fine. Has a little case. You just put everything in there. Just put everything in the case. I like it because then you don't lose anything. And then you're off and running. All right, let's look at the last one. Why did I buy yet another one? Well, this does some stuff that the other ones don't. In fact, this has something that none of them have. It's called 32-bit float. So these microphones have memory inside, and it records inside. So you can hit the little red button here. It vibrates to let you know it's recording. and then the receiver will also tell you it's recording. And now audio is going into this. Being 32-bit float, doesn't matter if they're soft or loud, it works. Now, with this system, I like everything that is inside the case. So you can actually, with the clips, put them in. The only thing you have to take off is the wire. And then you put the wire in the lid. Now with this, all right, how do I get the audio? So if I am using the 32-bit float recording inside, you have to plug your computer into this box. And then what I had to do is I had to open it up, and then it saw two memories show up on the desktop, and those are, one is one mic, one's the other, and it has all the recordings in there. So all the other systems I showed you, you would have to have like an external recorder like this. It could be a 32-bit float, it could be a Zoom, it could be whatever you want. If you wanted, the XLR inputs and stuff, or multiple mics. Now, with this system, since it records inside, you don't need that anymore. You don't need an external recorder. In fact, you don't even have to plug it into the camera anymore. So you just visually, what I do is I put this right on the camera. And let's zoom into this. I know it's not really great quality, but I just wanted you to see. So now, with this, I can press. It vibrates, and now I have a red box around the microphone, plus this turns red. Now I know I'm recording. I don't even need to run audio into this camera. If you notice, I just put the receiver on top, just for me visually to check it. Now, I've always told you, monitor your audio. So one thing this has that the other ones don't is a headphone jack. So I could actually plug this in. Now I have audio levels. Now I can hear the microphone now. So it's crucial to hear it and listen, make sure there's no weird things happening to it. And if you want to stop recording, you hit stop. Now, I ran this the other day about 5 hours. I don't know how long they run. So now if I do two of them, the screen changes to two of them, and then the same thing. I could press one. See? This one's recording over here. And if I press the other one, now a red box shows up on the other one. So now I have a visual marker of both working. Hit them. The red lights turn off of these, and this turns off. Now, this is what's cool about this system. And let me show you. Okay, this is what's really cool about this. So with the Sony cameras, with this microphone, they have a little box you put at the bottom, and you plug it in the camera. Now, no wires. I have 4 channels of audio. So now, I can buy another set of these. I can have 4 mics going into this camera, just like we had before with the big handle. But now with this little box, I just put it right on the top. It goes for the MI shoe, and now I have multiple channels. Now, what's really cool about that is now this records raw audio. So, in your editing, you have to put noise reduction. You have to do maybe a little EQ or a limiter compressor. But with the camera, I could plug this in directly in the hot shoe. It talks to the camera, and I could actually go in it and adjust EQ, noise reduction. And so inside my camera recording, it has that baked in. But let's say for some reason you don't like how it sounds, you could always go back to this and have the raw audio and fix it. Now, this system what's really cool about this system, this has time code. So now I can go on my camera, and what I do is I start the time code at 0 all the way across and do free run. And then I do on the mic receiver, I do time code 0 all the way across. Make sure they're both in 24, 30, or 60. That you make sure your frame rate's the same. And then what I do is I hit both cameras, both the camera and the mic at the same time, and it starts a time code at 0 and just have it free run. So over the day it gets bigger. So that makes it a little easier to sync up because now you have time code in your editing software. You're like, where's that clip 15? Okay, that time code of 21 hours, you could go on this and look for the time code. So that's one really cool thing. Now, if you have, let's say, the Nikon ZR, the ZR it can accept time code. So this box will actually, one channel will be audio, one channel will be time code. And then your camera will get the time code from the actual microphone. So that, and then it syncs up perfectly. What I did was it kind of syncs. It gets you close, but it's not accurate sync. And then with the Sony, you could get a US, I think it's a special adapter that you do time code, and then you could put this into the camera and then have time code again. So that's one nice thing about this, has time code. And also with this, you can go in here and do mono also. So if you want both microphones going to left and right, not separate, you can do mono. So that's kind of cool. I like, there's an LCD screen. You can see levels. You can go in and hit record on this, and then it triggers these to record. What else does it do? Time code. You also can use an app. It has an app. You can go in it, and then you can do some EQing and stuff. So these actually have EQ. And then the wind screens, you might see this. They just go right on top. And I imagine you see every person on YouTube doing this. They just hold it like this. I think you just clip it to your shirt, kind of in the middle here, in the middle of the chest here, and you'll be fine. Well, I know that's a lot. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments, and I will try to answer them or make another video on your comments. Thank you for joining me, and talk to you later.